That backpack in itself, I don't even want to say it out loud. I have not said out loud how much that backpack cost me. This backpack, that's why y'all go see it in every video.
You done lost your damn mind. When you get your damn mind, you call me.
That was crazy saying that out loud. That was the first time I said that out loud.
It's just the say nobody with the wasting girl. This I know say don't put no fisting girl.
Daddy land.
Say your man you a replacing girl.
Yo, daddy now land and back up your thing if you're good up, good up. Yeah. Wind your waist if you're good up, good up. Touch up yourself if you're good up, good up. Good up, good up, my girl.
Okay, y'all, so it's been a while since I've been back from Trinidad, and I'm actually in the process of planning some more carnivals for business and for fun. So I thought that today I'd touch on a subject that I get a lot of questions about. Ever since I've been back from Trinidad, people have been asking me all about how much it costs. Are there any tricks or tips you can do to cut costs? And I thought that I would do an episode about how I plan my personal carnivals. Like Trinidad was just a trip for me. It wasn't for business or anything else. I helped a few other people plan their trips, but nothing like official. I didn't have an official package for Trinidad. So I'm gonna talk about how I do my own personal budget, and then I'm also going to touch on how I budget for my clients, how I budget as far as planning carnivals for my business. Before we get into all of that, I need you guys to hit that like button, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys for, 320 followers. I think when I started this year, I was barely at 120. So thank you guys so much. I'm so happy that you guys are loving on my content right now, and I'm just gonna keep it coming, okay? Hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so that you can see when I post. Also, real quick, don't forget to follow me on that community tab. I have been posting information on how you can join me for Carnival, posting pictures of Carnival and the kids and my shorts and everything. My shorts are going crazy. Thank you guys for that. Also, make sure you're following me on all platforms. I'm at @tslay_unfiltered on TikTok and Twitter, and at t.slay.unfiltered on Instagram. So let's get into it. So for me, personal carnival trips for myself are a little bit different. I do things a little bit differently from how I do it for my clients. I'm a little bit more lax. I have time to figure out what I'm gonna do, if I'm gonna do it. So the way I do my personal carnival trip, first things first, I don't recommend this for everybody, but because I'm kind of seasoned as far as this goes, I do map out my costume first. I do secure my costumes first for when I'm planning my carnival trips. It's just something that I do because if I know that if I put a down payment or if I pay off a costume, I'm definitely going. Regardless, I'm gonna find a way. I'm gonna reschedule. I'm gonna move some funds around. I'm gonna do what I gotta do to get there if I know that I have a costume secured. So that's my first thing. Costume accommodations is next for me. Accommodations is usually easy except if you're going to Trinidad. A lot of people have issues with accommodations as far as Trinidad. I did not. I had 3 at the end of the day. One of them canceled. So the first one I booked, it was very reasonably priced, but from my understanding, it was in Chaguanas. The person, when I spoke to them, they told me that they were in the Chaguanas area, and I'm like, okay, cool. That's 20-30 minutes away from the Sogodrome and everything. So I'm mapping everything out. Come to find out, the place was not in Chaguanas, Tunapuna, nowhere near there. So it would have taken, so it was about almost an hour to the Sogodrome, the area, the general area where everything is. So I'm like, okay, well, that's not gonna work out. So I actually ended up canceling at the last minute. I felt bad, but hey, you should have been up front and told me exactly where this place was. So I had issues with that, getting our refund from that, and that was a whole big mess. But so we ended up, I think after that, I scored one place in Diego Martin, and it was, Diego Martin is basically the general area where everything is, 5-10 minutes away. And they ended up canceling on me. So I booked it and then they canceled like the next week or something like that. So that was a mess. And then last minute, literally the week before we left, I booked the place that we stayed at, and it was a little on the more expensive side, but it was definitely worth every penny. And being that there were 3 of us, at the end of it, there ended up being 5 of us. There was enough space for 5 of us to stay. I was happy that I went that route. Everything worked out. But I would say to people that are like in a frenzy about accommodations, don't get yourself in too much of a uproar, because definitely found a nice place on, what was that, Airbnb or something like that? Airbnb or Vrbo. Last minute, we paid, I'll get to that in a minute. I'll get to the prices of everything in a minute. But I just want to do a quick rundown. So yeah, you can definitely find a decent place last minute. Like I said, some of this stuff I don't really recommend if you are new to the game. You probably want to get everything secure, but if you've been a couple times, then you know, you can wait a little minute. You can be a little lax. But next for me is Fets. After I know I have a costume, I know I have a place to stay, Fets. I know it sounds crazy. It seems like, I should have other pressing matters, but I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna tell you guys why I do it this way. Fets, when it comes to the major fets that we did, Sunny Side Up and Soca Brainwash sold out in like 5 minutes. Caesar's Army, I almost didn't get a ticket for Caesar's Army because their site jammed. It told me that I got through and I did not. I never got a confirmation, so I ended up having to buy my ticket off of AWM, American Wines Matter. I'm sure probably most of you, if you're in the Carnival community, you are following her, but she's at AWM Carnival on Instagram, on everything. So she's amazing. She bought like 3 or 4 extra tickets or something like that, and she ended up selling me one of her extra tickets, and she sold me one of her extra tickets for the regular price. She didn't even upcharge me, so she's a total angel for that. Big up AWM Carnival, thank you. Yeah, so stuff like that sells out in minutes. You do not have time to wait. You do not have time to, oh, let me get my other stuff together and let me get my budget together, save my money. No, you don't have time for none of that. Once those Fet tickets start dropping for Trinidad Carnival, that's it. You do not have time to wait. So that's why Fets are third as far as my priorities. And finally, flight. So I started planning my Trinidad Carnival trip right after I had Win. I wasn't 100% sure. I knew that I had to be there for the return of Carnival, but I had just had a newborn, so I didn't have a lot of wiggle room as far as finances, budget, and everything, because I had a new baby. But I was able to put up a little bit here and there, savings, hustle, all that. So I knew that if I booked my one way, I could figure out my other one way eventually. So I booked did I book my return first? I do that, and I'm gonna get into that, but sometimes I do book my return first. So I think I booked my return first, and that was $1,000. That was like $900. And then I actually booked my departure maybe like 2 weeks before I left. That was a huge mistake. Typically, I book my return first because return flights, if you guys haven't noticed, tend to be more expensive than the departures. This was about equal. They were both equally expensive. So I paid $900 for my return, and I paid about $900 to $1,000 for my departure, which I'm flying out of Chicago, so it's gonna be more expensive for me anyway. So I guess it's still kind of a deal, but yeah, I am gonna book a little early. I still, for one, personally don't believe in booking flights 6 months to a year in advance, because you've already booked this. You can't change it unless you get a refundable ticket, but who wants to go through all of that? I prefer to book my flights 4 to 6 months in advance, tops, because that's where you find all the deals. That's just me. Everybody can do what works for them, but what works for me, I see my best deals around 4 to 6 months in advance, sometimes even 3. So go back. Costume. My costume, I actually got a frontline. Actually, I did the midline body wear. I jumped with Yuma Vibe. If you guys don't know, I played the rosé section, so I did the midline body wear. And I think that was like $700 or something like that. Yeah, about $700. And I had the hardline backpack at first with the midline body wear. And at first that was like $1,000, $1,100 or something like that. I was feeling a little impulsive one day, and I did upgrade my backpack to the ultra hard line. And that backpack in itself, I don't even want to say it out loud. I have not said out loud how much that backpack cost me. This backpack, that's why y'all gonna see it in every video. You're gonna see it in every video. It needs to be in a museum or something, because the amount that I paid for this backpack was ridiculous. I don't want to say it out loud. I'm just going to say my costume, I'm gonna write it down. Costume was, oh, I also pre-registered. I pre-registered. That takes $150 off of your costume. So I pre-registered for $150, and wait, it really doesn't take anything off, but I paid $150 that comes out of your costume. I did that like last year sometime, and then it came, you know, I didn't have to worry about that. That was, my costume was less $150. But all in all, I don't know if you guys can see that, but yes, my costume was $1,600. I'm a fool. I felt like it was a once in a lifetime thing with us losing Carnival for 2 years. You never know when you're gonna get another opportunity. So I'm like, I never do like ultra hardline. I think I haven't done like a frontline, ultra frontline since my first Carnival in Barbados. So yeah, I felt like it was time, and I don't regret it. I had a really good time. I felt pretty, I looked pretty, and I got my backpack. I got my background piece, my statement piece in the background here. So it was $1,600. Accommodations, we started out with rather cheap accommodations. I actually don't remember how much the first one was. I think it was like, I want to say it was like $1,600, $1,800. And then we ended up paying like $2,400. So between the three of us, it was, I don't feel like doing that math, but yeah, $800 a piece, I think that is. I know math today, y'all. So it was a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, upstairs, downstairs, pool, everything. You guys saw, I'll try to put in some more clips, but it was just beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. It had 2 patios, upstairs, downstairs, full kitchen, just absolutely gorgeous. And the renters, they lived like next door, so they were very flexible as far as paying for it, because we had some issues getting our money back from the last place. So they really worked with us, and I'm praying, they're saying they might sell this year. I'm praying they don't, so that we can get right back in there. So fingers crossed, y'all pray for us that we get back in that same spot. And do not message me asking me where the spot is, asking me for the hookup, because I'm not giving away. It is booked, boo. It is as good as booked. Next, I'll get into Fets. Fets we did, let's see, what did we do? We did Tribe. Tribe was kind of expensive for the vibe that was given. We did Masho 40. Masho 40 was surprisingly the cheapest ticket, and I guess because it was like a test run, they didn't know how it was gonna do. But I did Sunrise. The whole gang didn't do Sunrise, but I did Sunrise. So we did Sunrise in the morning, Masho 40 in the evening. We did Caesar's Army. Why am I spelling Caesar's with the S? Caesar's Army. And then we were supposed to do Silent Morning. We had Silent Morning tickets. I don't want to talk about it. You guys know, if you watched my previous videos, we were supposed to go on Silent Morning boat ride. It was a vibe from the pictures and the videos that are floating online, and we missed it. So Silent Morning, and then Saturday evening we did SBW, Soca Brainwash. I think I'm missing something. Soca Brain. Yeah, that was Saturday. And then Sunday we did Sunny Side Up. And then we did Havoc. Oh, actually Havoc was the cheapest ticket, then Masho. Okay, so start with the cheapest. Havoc was $45, Masho was $60, Tribe was like $100. I don't remember. These are like give or take. I didn't take the time to go back and look at my receipts, but Sunrise was like $150. Sunrise was ridiculous. Trinidad Fets are going to run you, just so you know, there's no surprises. Trinidad Fets are going to run you when you're doing the Magic Fets. I'm sure there's things that you can do that are like a little bit cheaper and stuff. Like you can, instead of doing the private juve, which Caesar's Army is considered a private juve, you can do the traditional juve, which I believe you can get packages for that like $60 if you do a package. You could just jump up in the street and you clothes if you want for free. So that's actually what I'm gonna be doing next year. You know, I think I've had my fill of private juvets. I've been doing private juvets since I started playing masks. So I think it's time to do traditional juvets because I love the history behind it and everything, and I just really need to get that vibe. Let's see, Caesar's Army was, Caesar's Army was $205, I wanna say. Yeah, Caesar's Army was $205. Silent Morning was $180. Soca Brainwash was, I wanna say $180. $180 as well, something like that. I might be off by $20, but y'all get the gist. Sunny Side Up was also like $180. So you see where I'm going with this. Pretty penny. So let me just total all of this up. So in total for fets, I paid $1,100.
You done lost your damn mind. When you get your damn mind, you call me.
That was crazy saying that out loud. That was the first time I said that out loud. And yeah, I paid $1,100 for all of the events that we went to. We did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 events. We did 8 events and we did $1,100 in total per person. Craziness. Some of us, give or take, didn't do the same events, but for all of mine, I paid $1,100. So, my little calculator. Costume, $1,600. Accommodations, $800 was my portion. Fets was $1,100. Flight was $1,900. $5,400 as far as the trip goes. Now, factor in spending money. Food is very, very cheap in Trinidad. It's not like, a lot of people were saying, oh, you can get by on $200 for, you know, a week in Trinidad. I was there for 6 days and I ate up $200 real quick. And plus I'm a knick-knack girl. I'll go to the store, see some things. Also, me personally, I didn't do this in Trinidad, but usually, y'all know when I get somewhere, the first thing I'm doing is looking for a grocery store. I'm gonna buy my groceries so that I don't eat out everywhere. But you know, there was a lot of street food. We were gone all the time. We spent way more time out in the streets than we did at home. So there was really no time to stay home and cook. In Barbados, I can do that. I can make time to cook a meal and eat off of it for a couple of days. But with Trinidad, there was no time. There was no time to even get to a grocery store and go grocery shopping, much less cook. We had 8 events. So some days we had 2, 3 fets a day. So yeah, spending money, I say I spent probably about $300. Between 3 and 4, I'll say $350. I spent about $350 in cash. So add that. That's actually not as bad. I feel like I'm missing something. That's actually not that bad. $5,750? Under $6K? I definitely feel like I'm missing something. Oh, I did want to talk about my shopping and everything. So as far as clothes, accessories, I did do a whole overhaul of my wardrobe, my summer clothing wardrobe. So I say I spent about $1,000 on that. So that I'm like, I know my number is at least 6. So I say I spent about $1,000 on clothes, accessories, shoes, all of that, the works, everything that you saw me in, about $1,000. So let's say $6,750, which still is not bad. $6,750. So real quick, I realized what it was that I forgot. I forgot my Carnival Tuesday makeup, which was $230. I don't know how I forgot that. And this actually brought my total to $69.80. I went to Trinidad Carnival for less than $7,000, which is a miracle when you think about people that are spending like $10,000. And even like packages for Trinidad Carnival, they're like upwards of like $8,000 to $10,000. And me personally, my business is all about taking my people to Carnival more affordably, so that none of us can say we can't afford to go to Carnival. We just have to work with what we got. You gotta use what you got to get what you want, okay? So we can all go to Carnival. It's just a matter of working with your budget. You don't have to feel like, oh, I don't have $10,000. I don't have $5,000 to go to Carnival. You can make whatever work. So me personally, as far as Trinidad Carnival, the reason why I'm never dropping another package, I just can't see myself charging my people as much as it costs to go. And you know, some of us are a little on the cheap side, so I don't feel like arguing with nobody about why I gotta charge you XYZ to, I'm sorry, a lot of y'all be feeling like these costumes supposed to cost $20. And do y'all understand that just to get a backpack like that, there are several little pieces of metal that need to be burned and bent just to get a backpack like that? Much less, we're not even talking about the feathers and the glue work and the handmanship, whatever it's called. Just to get the frame, you have to bend and burn wire. So the fact that y'all be thinking that these costumes are supposed to cost like $100 is crazy to me. But yeah, I just don't see myself putting together a package where I have to charge that much to go. So, and then also I'm glad I did the way I did, because I was able to really enjoy Trinidad Carnival for most of what it was. I won't say all of what it was. I still missed out on a lot of things. I've still missed out on the traditional aspect of it, but I know going forward next year, what all I want to do as far as a more traditional experience. And I feel like that's something that's sacred for me. I don't want to have to work while I am enjoying that. So Trinidad Carnival is just going to be sacred for me. I will not be dropping a package. For those who have asked, until I've had my fill for Trinidad Carnival, I probably won't be dropping the Trinidad Carnival package. Speaking of packages, now I'm going to talk to you guys about how I planned my Carnival trips as far as my clients. I did the personal. Now I'm gonna do the Carnival trips that I plan for my clients for my business, T Travels. That is at t.travelsconcierge on Instagram, www.ttravelsconcierge.com on the web, and let's get into it. So all of the Carnival trips that I plan, I'd say all with the exception of one, I've actually been to. So I don't really like to work with carnivals that I haven't been to, I haven't experienced, I don't know how they work. I don't like to just send people to a carnival that I've never been to. So I have a really good feel of how to budget, what costs what, how much accommodations cost, how much a flight is gonna cost from different places. And then I, do my research as far as different departure cities, states, countries around the world. That's how I'm able to like create my budget a little bit. So I start with the accommodations. Where can all of my clients fit? How many clients? First of all, I think of how many travelers do I want to take to Carnival this year? Let's say 20. Okay, I need to find a place where 20 of us can stay. 2 to a room preferably. Sometimes I do up to quad, but let's say 2 to a room. Let's say at the very least, if I have 20 people coming, I'm gonna need like at the very least 10 rooms, let's say. And also I do plan on dropping an e-course on how I plan my Carnival trips, how I actually started my business, creating Carnival packages and travel packages and things like that. So look out for that. That's probably gonna be dropping towards the end of this month. So accommodations, where are we all staying? Budget for that. I find that, book that right off the bat. So I'm putting that up right off the bat. That's my capital. That's what I'm securing first things first. But now that I know that I have somewhere for all of us to stay, now I am looking towards flights. How much is the flight gonna cost from here? How many departures do I wanna list as far as, where I'm taking people from? Usually it's about 8 major cities in the US and Toronto. I'm gonna expand, of course, as time goes on, as the business gets bigger, but right now it's usually 8 cities. Dallas, New York, Houston, New Orleans, Chicago, of course, Jersey, so on and so forth. So I factor how much each place is, a departure from each place is gonna cost to get to the place where the carnival is, and then I put that into my budget. Next, costumes. I usually try to offer a frontline costume, and I look at the bands that I want to work with. I usually work with the same bands, so I know pretty much what their price scale is and how much is the frontline gonna cost, and I go from there. How much is the male option gonna cost, and I go from there. I factor that in. Fets. I do the same fets time after time. If you've ever been to one of my carnivals or you ever seen my packages, you know I do the same fets, and I factor in how much each fet. Say I want to do, I usually pick a number. I want to do 4 or 5, between 4 and 6 fets per package, and then I look at the tickets, see how they're running, factor that in. So now once I factor the accommodations, the flight, the costume, the fets, I put those numbers together. Next, I create like a little reserve for taxes, fees, surcharges, booking fees, all that stuff. and I come up with a number for that, and I put that with a number for the individual inclusions itself, and then I put that into a cute little package, bundle it up, and I offer it to my clients. So that is how I plan my T Travels Carnival packages versus how I do my personal carnival. It's a little bit different, kind of the same, it's all the same stuff, but it's just a matter of timing. And I feel like with T Travels, you get a little more time because you know that you're paying. I have the payment plans and you're paying as you go. The brush is really on me. Everything else falls on me. You know, my clients don't really have that pressure of, oh, I gotta get up at 2 o'clock in the morning when these Fed tickets go on sale. I gotta be online. I gotta step away from my desk to go get these Fed tickets that drop at 9 a.m. They don't have to worry about that. That all falls on me, but they know that they've already been paying into a package that allows them to rest easy. So, again, shameless plug, if you want to join me for Carnival, go ahead and hit me up at t.travelsconcierge on Instagram or www.ttravelsconcierge.com, or you can email me info@ttravelsconcierge.com, and hopefully I'll see you guys on the road. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Yeah, you forget the big life. Say money they a bucket for the big life. Come let me fill the socket with the big light. Yeah, I me bruise, so you tight.